A draw means the series is over.
Not drawable.
Not the loss means the series is over. It is time for Tea Party to win this map if they want to continue. They need to clean up their play a little bit. They can't let Montreal just walk all over them, do the doormat cosplay as we've seen in the past.
Tea Party considering heading out 3-2-1 instead, just swapping over the 3-3. Meanwhile, you take a look at the Rebellion. They're entrenched. We just talked about how, oh, you don't have to run DPS, or you don't have to run 3-3 all the time, and what do we get here? The classic.
Rebellion running through 3 Tea Party as well with that 3-3. They're going to enter from the high ground. See the bubbles traded there, and Tea Party, they don't even want to engage because as soon as that ally bubble is used, you don't want to walk through a choke where you're going to take a bunch of damage or Ryan can get pinned or bashed. They wait for it to come back up. Now they're moving up onto the high ground.
Right now, just the poke battle being exchanged. Jakaru getting a little bit deep into it, shield low. Him low as well, but ends up getting booped off right before getting healed as well. So Tea Party going to take the opportunity to take the high ground, but then just jump right down, and Ace of Spades immediately taken down. He got booped a little bit too far, and the rest of Montreal there on the follow through. It's me first fight going the way of Montreal.
I don't even know if that was a boop onto Ace of Spades. I think Ace of Spades was thinking.
Was it a full jump?
I think he was committing onto the point from that boop earlier because Jakaru's shield was broken, then booped off the high ground by Fossman, and then his team's right behind him. Because logically, I think ZP, you would think, well, that probably is a boop, because why would you commit so aggressively onto the point and your shield's so low? But I think Ace of Spades thought his team was there to follow up.
I thought he jumped down and then just got thrown a little bit too far afterwards, like a little bit of extra help from Montreal. But if that was all self-inflicted, then yeah, I mean, that did look like there was a little bit of help from the enemy team because that wasn't where you needed to be. Next fight, though, underway. Jakaru going to get a bubble just in the nick of time. Keeping him up. And Shatter. Oh, no! Jakaru going to shatter nothing but ground on the other side. Booped. Right as the Shatter comes in, an opportunity for Tea Party. But Tea Party, I mean, they're using Transcendence early. They don't get much from it. Montreal's still in a really good spot here. Their Transcendence still up. Their beat's still up. And Tea Party in a rough spot where, okay, you land a good grab. Transcendence is going to be there. Logic's getting low. Super low. Transcendence in. Not in time to save Jakaru. And now, this is what Tea Party needed here. 2 pickoffs to them here so far. And that should be point A.
Good boop. That Jakaru Shatter onto the low ground too, even though it might not have made a difference in the end because Ace of Spades probably would have blocked it or Amadian with the bubble. But did look stylish. They set up a good great grab there. They get the early pick before the trans is able to get saved. Now they have first, so don't have to worry about having a perfect defense anymore, ZP. We have moved past the first point. We have the first. Logic's coming up on the grab. Tinta does have beat, but for right now, Tea Party are in firm control through not just the cart, but the ult economy.
Tea Party moving forward, and don't forget in the Bonnie's second, pretty hard to defend, even though they're the best of circumstances. Montreal would like to take this fight and then go up forward, and oh, Ace of Spades gonna drop the hammer, knocks down 2, Logic's and Ultraviolet on the ground, beat, save them though. Bomb coming up over the top, Tea Party not gonna connect, Jakaru over and in, looking to fall through the Graviton thrown down, but Transcendence there for Tea Party still very much in the fight. Trent's right back the other way, Ace of Spades though again real low, Ace of Spades down, isolated one more time. Jakaru, though, falling on the other side. And even though the fight's won by Montreal, when you lose someone here in second, you can't go up to the spawn. They're going to have to back out after finishing off the Eva.
Fossman here going to get staggered as well. And the aggression, they just did not have... They weren't able to clean up there. You see Ace of Spades just drops that Shatter, forces the beat for Tinsa, but they didn't have grab. They didn't have the aggression they needed to get those cleanup frags. The bomb came out a little too late for Fossman.
And look at the space that they're giving up here. It's something you have to do because Jakaru just takes a long time to get back.
Montreal backing up. Logic's already 70% to another grab. They do have a Transcendence. There is a chance for Amadi to do the race here. So if I'm far, I would much rather just use, if I'm Tea Party in general, I'd much rather use my rally here aggressively, try to force the trans for Ultraviolet by putting the pressure onto Jakaru.
Logic's getting real close to the Graviton. He's built it on up, but Jakaru is down. So now decision time. Do you use it 5v6? And they decide yes. Yes, we do. They're moving on in. They're looking for Antol. Antol can get bubbled. Saved. It's up from Tea Party. Graviton now going to use in return. The bomb up over the top. The combo moving on in. Takes down 2. Tea Party well on their way to taking point B, but not the worst in terms of time bought from Montreal for a point that, again, is not usually defensive.
Great play from Far. Using that rally to get that pressure, forcing the Shatter onto Jakaru, then gets cleaned up. Pulls the Ryan playbook classic. My shield is low, I must shatter.
The flowchart.
The flowchart. It is the flowchart. And then getting the bubble, the armor, not the bubble, but the armor pack onto Antol to keep him alive during the grab. Well played from Far. That Brigida making it in play, because people like to say, oh, Brigida won't have MVP impact, but it can.
Well, testing the Bonnie always is point C. Jakaru under a bit of pressure here thus far. We get to see the bomb coming in from Smex right over the top. Doesn't quite connect, but does force spacing. Madian unable to get back to the rest of the team. 6 on 5, Montreal now can stabilize.
And even though that bomb wasn't huge, you didn't see a lot of frags coming up because of it. The split was the important part. Amadian was playing the off angles. So you see this chase happening from Montreal. They're going into the spawn. They're trying to catch these people there. They catch Blub. They're going to get another pick on the Logic, or not on the Logic, but on the Far very soon. And if I'm Montreal, I see where the card's at. I'm taking the aggressive hold. I'm going to do a little bit of spawn camp of my own. I'm going to have grabs, do not shatter. You can force Tea Party to use ults just to get out of spawn.
Well, that's exactly what they're going for. You have read their mind. You guys have both graduated from the same Overwatch school of good thoughts. Caro, we get thrown back a little bit, holding on to the shatter. Shield starting to feel very much under pressure. Moving forward the other way, Ace of Spades. Also, close to shield break. Shatter comes down, but no, not going to connect. He thought the shield would be broken. It was not. Tea Party, they get through the first challenge. Now they move forward. Ace of Spades, so down! Ends up getting isolated in the end. And Montreal, guess what? They're going straight back to the spawn door.
Straight back to the spawn door. Did use that Transcendence along with the shatter. So there is an opening for Tea Party to break this hold. They could use the grab of their own. They can use the, but really they don't want to use grab on the high ground because of how easy it is to get split, to get booped down. It's tough to follow up. Ideally, maybe Fosman gets a bomb or Ace of Spades gets a shatter to remove them. And they don't have to use too many ults just to get out of spawn in general.
Speaking of grabs, you have Logics coming in from the high ground, from the back, in the grab. Gonna be pulling an Ace of Spades, and Ace of Spades down again. Just a continual target here for Montreal. He needs a beat in response to the Graviton on the way in. Jacaro drops the shatter, getting awfully low himself. But the cleanup for Montreal going to be there, and when you lose the Ryan that early, it's just hard to win the fight if it lasts any longer.
It is, and Tea Party also did not really do anything with their ults. They didn't use for an engage. They tried to go to point, force Montreal to drop down, which they did, but then Montreal had the much better engage. They're able to have that early grab onto Ace of Spades. Their support ult comes up too late to save him, and then they decide to invest their grab anyways, and their bomb, in an angle that's not very good.
1 minute left here for Tea Party. They are running out of time, running out of chances, and that stagger likely going to cost them what was one of their final 2 fights. Now, if the fight takes place here, they get perhaps a little bit more, but they're just running against the clock.
So Tea Party now looking like they want to position, remove Montreal from the high ground. With Montreal, they have Rally to hold, they have Trance to hold, there's no grab from audience, so they have a free opportunity to use these support ults to be aggressive, to hold the point, and actually they're just going to be rotating all the way around because you see Tea Party takes this wide rotation to get to the cart.
It's a very wide rotation, but 30 seconds left remaining. This is now final fight territory with Montreal. Roll back over Jacaro. Under heavy pressure early on, eats a stun, and backing on up, and Jacaro's down. Specs though, grabbing the bomb, trying to make a little bit more space. Tea Party able to dance around it. A full 6 on 5 advantage. Montreal in hot retreat. They don't want to fight this. They still have room to give. And they're going to wait for Jacaro to come back up.
Ultraviolet committed to Transcendence there, trying to keep the movement alive, and the rally, and the bombs of Montreal. They're drained a bit. Amadian coming up on this grab. This grab is going to be so important. Logic might just have to use it to peel, to keep the follow-up away from the rest of his squad. Actually going to go for the aggressive grab first.
Well, they go for a Blub. Transcendence comes up just barely in time. Wasn't up at the beginning of the grab, but was before anyone ended up falling. Bomb invested by Fossman. And oh, was that a C9 Montreal?
They don't touch. The grab came out after the cart was already being capped. That wasn't a grab C9. That was actually them not just not touching the cart. They all turned around to get the DMEC. They weren't on cart.
Ooh, mistakes being made by Montreal in the end. And it, for a moment there it wasn't clear because we were in overtime. It's like, all right, who was on the payload? And it's Montreal that they ignore the payload at a critical moment. Now, the one upside for Montreal, they still drain every last bit of time off the clock. If they're able to finish here in Numbani with over a minute remaining, then they get the uncontested attack, which is usually pretty good omen because for them, it's victory no matter what. If it's a draw, they win. If they win outright, of course, they win. So Tea Party needs to at least hold Montreal back to the point that they have under a minute remaining when they finish.
So Tea Party, you don't have to have a perfect hold anymore. You don't even have to have a perfect second hold. You could have the ideal perfect third hold, which would be great because then you can finish it out. Montreal going to be on this offense now. Looking like they might roll out here on a quad or even triple or even a quad DPS, which we have seen a lot of flex supports, even the Overwatch League level playing some DPS of their own, whether it be the Hanzo or the Tracer. Tea Party looking though to roll out, play the standard 3-3 for them.
Well, one difference here from Montreal as compared to Paris is that Montreal actually has to worry about points B and point C. They can't go, oh, just, getting point A, that's fine. That's all we're going to worry about. It's like, no, your defense was not good enough to where your offense can essentially cheat the system. So we'll see how Montreal plays this, where they have to worry about ult economy for a longer period of time.
Now Montreal on this triple, on this quad DPS, J-Caro sitting in main, waiting for Smex to sort of come back in. See the grandpa coming in, but already Logic's down, taken down by Blub off the bash from far. The Boop is out, but can they finish these frags? Because they do not have a lot of sustain. They don't have a lot of healing in this fight, so they can't be too aggressive. Which is the problem running the quad DPS.
The issue there is that the pile driver Doomfist. Oh, Madian! So isolated there, just body blocked away. And even with Jakaru and Logic's being out of sync in the beginning, now Montreal's created a 6-on-5 opportunity. They are going to put pressure here onto Point Tea Party. Stuck here in the building. At some point, they're going to have to roll out what is a very unfavorable choke. Logic's get ready to thank him because he's holding here a knuckle sandwich directly to the face. Tea Party, gang held back. Already Montreal already has most of Point A. The pickoff's finally coming on in, and it's a little bit bloody, but it works out for Montreal.
It's a fast cap, and they didn't have to use any ult for it either. To win the first fight, Love is going to be going down now. Madian came back on that Sombra. Tea Party, they should stay for the Sombra Goats. If they want to be sticking with the 3-3 composition, they need a Madian on Sombra versus the quad DPS versus the Hammond. Deny some of that value. Far actually going Tracer. This is still the right comp. In my eyes, in my book, when this triple DPS is out for Montreal as Ultraviolet goes Ana, the Tracer here is great against this. It's great. You have a Sombra to help deny the Pharah, help deny the Hammond. You have the Tracer to hunt the backline, to put the pressure, get the damage.
And a lot of time here for Montreal, where not only for point B, which is again usually fair, but the barrage come down immediately. Looking for Ace of Spades, of course, the usual target. Madian, though, gonna punish. And yeah, Ace of Spades just barely gets away. The problem is that Ace of Spades is low. Bossman's gonna get demected. And Bossman takes down Doomfist. Pilot Diva doing the job. Tea Party being surprisingly resilient, but for how long? Jakaru in there on the Hammond, Ultraviolet. Yes, Ana and Jakaru and Ultraviolet doing enough work here for the payload to continue to move.
The payload is continuing to move, but they had the EMP Mirage actually did not find a lot of value. Can they get Antal? That's an important stagger kill. If they can pick him up, they will. Very important stagger kill there, because not only will they have to wait for Antal to respawn, but they won't have the speed, touch point quicker. They won't have the beat. The Montreal holding the point. I don't think Tea Party is going to be able to contest. They won't contest.
No, I don't think so. And 5 minutes and 24 seconds left to finish out here. And don't forget, Tea Party needs to drain this by about 4 minutes and 18 seconds, or guess what? They don't get another attack. And more importantly, the series is over regardless of how their final defense is.
And look at the swaps that Montreal have done. They're just going to Sombra Goat. They're going to Sombra 3-3 with Ultraviolet on Ana. Noticing that Madian is still on the Sombra himself. So they have time to just here take fights, build up their ults, play the ult cycle as Tea Party. They make swaps of their own. And for them, they need to invest wisely. They cannot overuse ults here.
Well, Madian immediately goes in, gets 5 with the EMP, but ends up falling in turn.
They beat as well.
Interesting that they decide to invest the beat here. It's a pretty big overcommittal for a team that has to survive for a much longer period of time. If you're Montreal, you are happy over this development.
And in addition to that, Madian's now made the swap on his Zarya, so he's going to be behind overall in the grab. Not even going to have the chance to look for crucial hacks to get to this. They won't have the EMP either, which is going to be very big. You see the bomb come out. There's the anti, but Specs gets through with the EMP.
EMP out, they're looking for Ace of Spades again, but they don't quite have the firepower this time. Jakaru gonna fall first to term. Ace of Spades still under pressure, ends up falling in the end anyways. And Ace of Spades, at some point, you just gotta back on out. Montreal's game plan has been simple. They keep going for you time after time. Now Logic's and Naga moving in even deeper. 4 minutes left. Tea Party must delay as Logic's just continues to decimate them.
Look at Tea Party's ults. Only a Shatter, only a Rally versus Grab. Versus what is an upcoming rally of their own. There's the grab, it's out. They have the anti. They clean up Ace of Spades so early. There's no shatter on the field, no shield. All Montreal have to do is just play slow for their EMP.
6-on-5 Montreal in such a good spot. Well, they played slow enough. The EMP is ready, and Specs turns out the lights. Montreal just gonna casually bring this forward. And remember, this is the series. They finish this on the next 2.5 minutes, and oh, the shatter! Ace of Spades back from the grave, saying, let's make this interesting.
Ends up with 2!
What a comeback in from Tea Party. And now Montreal, it is not over yet.
Ace of Spades there, Montreal, they were so confident they weren't keeping track of Ace of Spades. It's all, you see the counter shatter, I mean not the counter shatter, but the bash comes out. It's done, fight's over, and Ace of Spades, the hero, returning from spawn. Montreal, they just kind of forgot about him.
Yeah, and that's a bad strategy in general. It's bad for making your TV series, and it's pretty bad for winning Overwatch games. Don't kind of forget.
So Montreal now putting Ultraviolet onto the Zen, which is the better play here. Now that the Sombra's off the field, get the Zid now going to play for that Transcendence much better against those grabs, have that stronger focus fire and the shield presence. As Logic's going down early, caught by the spam damage.
What Tea Party has done is created hope. If they can delay for another minute 30, realistically, one more fight, even if Montreal is able to finish this out, they still have the opportunity to come back and attack and win on Nabani. The next fight, completely crucial to their odds of staying alive in the series.
Logix does have that grab, but Amadian has a grab of his own. They have a support ult for Tea Party. Montreal, really, they need to take eco pushes. All they have to do is finish with some time left. This is an eco push scenario. They're not that eco grab. They're behind an ult economy. They're not winning the shield war even. They decide to commit the grab though. Here comes the push.
The shadow on the other side from Ace of Spades knocks down 2. Goes in for the deep charge, but Logix punishes Amadian. 6 on 5. Shadow coming from Jakaro on the other side. 5 on 5. The shadow from Jakaro, not enough. Ace of Spades do revenge as he gets deep into the Montreal backline with 3.
Bossman building up for the bomb. Ace of Spades building up to another shatter after just dropping it. But there is hope for Montreal. The grabs are traded. Double support ult used for Tea Party.
Well, there's hope for all parties here because even if Montreal, in the greater scheme, is able to finish out, Tea Party has delayed enough. They've bought enough time. They had to go for over 4 minutes, and they've done just that. Even if Montreal wins the next fight, Tea Party will get an attack.
Montreal moving forward here now. Next, building up towards that bomb. They have the nano. You see the early bomb for Bossman. The shatter not catching anyone.
Well, guess what? They're worried in Ace of Spades. Bossman gets 2 with the bomb on the other side. Fight not over yet, though. Logic's still a threat. Charged up. Gets Ace of Spades. 4 on 5 right now. Logic's low. Logic's down. And now Montreal's back up. And now it's Montreal on the hot seat. 48 seconds left. They're down to their final fight. Not only have they lost the opportunity to just shut out Tea Party without another attack, they might not get extra rounds at all.
Might not get the extra rounds. They might not finish the cap at this rate. We're at last fight territory. Tea Party's going to have the rally, going to have the Transcendence. So Smex's bomb. Smex's bomb is going to be so crucial in this fight. It's one of the only finishers. Even if Logic's grab is going to trade out with that Transcendence more than likely, so Smex is a hero to watch.
Smex's going to be holding on to it. They might be waiting for the combo, or they might toss it in. They don't know if Amadian has the grab, so they could be holding it on a more defensive basis. Probably going to be used here on both sides. Now the Reinhardt's trading out once more. Ace of Spades. This time he falls. The shatter from Jakaro right
Double
after.
Double support ult CP.
They layer it on in. Smex licking his chops. The bomb over the top. Going to get one more. It's in overtime. Better late than never. The grab comes in from Tea Party, but there's just not enough left. Not enough numbers on the field to take advantage. Overtime's going to be ticking down here. Ace of Spades, though, coming back on out. Doesn't have a shatter this time around, though, to turn the tide. Instead, falls to the grave one more time. And it's looking very good for Montreal as they look to bring us into extra rounds where both teams will be getting 1 minute.
Both teams getting 1 minute. You see the delay coming out far on that Mei, but it's all stagger. Bossman's going down. The bomb is out, but it won't kill anyone. This is just pure stall, but it's still going to go the way of Montreal. And now it's anyone's game. There is a real potential with Tea Party having that incredible defense. Their ult economy is so much better than Montreal's, and additionally to that, that they could bring back the series. That's not by any means solidified or cemented, but they could do it.
So again, I mean, credit where credit is due the Tea Party. That was a very difficult situation to be in. Frankly, they were getting speed run through point A and point B. But Nabani C is always the test. It doesn't quite matter what team you're up against. It is one of the more defensible points in the game. And also in stark contrast to just how free point B usually is. And now we're going to be swapping up here. It's going to be Tea Party moving to the attack first. Montreal on the defense. And one attack here, it does make it interesting to see what Tea Party is going to decide to go out with. I'm not usually a fan of going with Sombra on first attack when you only have a minute because you're not guaranteed to get the EMP to start out with, which is the main appeal for why you'd run the Sombra in the first place.
So Montreal with this 3-3. I doubt, did Tea Party, I mean, with Fossman on Sombra and Amadian on the Zarya in the spawn, looks like they're going to be probably running this. And it is that risk that you talked about. The risk is if they're weaker in the neutral fight. They are much weaker than a standard 3-3, which is what Montreal has here on the defense. So much of this is reliant on not only not getting run into, but having Fossman build a quick EMP or getting a value hack.
It's just not a great look. I mean, maybe they're using Fossman the scout and then Fossman's going to swap back. Even the, okay, Fossman was just scouting and then swapping back. That makes a lot more sense because even the very best Sombras in the game, it's hard to build an EMP in 1 minute. Not impossible, but not what you want to put your series hopes.
Oh, he made the swap. He swapped.
Yeah, no, he did.
So no Sombra, 3-3 versus 3-3, though they did have some time scouting, so 30 seconds left on the clock. This is last fight. This is the determining factor for this series for Tea Party, if they can stay in.
Tea Party taking the hard road here. Going for the top, but actually working out. Going to be removing Montreal from the high ground. Step 1 accomplished. Looking for the extra poke. Naga again in real low. Naga down! Tea Party with 2 immediately. Jakaro fights back to a degree, but Tea Party with far more momentum. They're down the Brigida, but still up the ride. This is going to be a very quick point A take. And usually, I mean, just getting point A alone in 1 attack is a very good omen here for Tea Party.
Getting point A in 1 attack is often extremely hard, and all of it was off that rotation. Montreal got forced up the high ground, and then Tea Party this time, Ace of Spades drops down. The armor pack would already used to keep Ultraviolet alive, who was isolated, a little bit disconnected from his team, and they just get the cleanup frags. They get those isolation frags, and this is the problem for Montreal. They're not ahead in the ult charge. The first flip has gone for Tea Party. They've gotten first point, which is a tough ask on a minute to go.
Now, the one upside is that point B is a lot more defensible because you only need 1 fight. And Montreal, they're going to be pulling out the stops here. You want to prevent this from going any further. You don't want to deal with needing to make a miracle push of your own. Now the pressure coming in from Tea Party. Look for the pressure already, but Blub is down. Ultraviolet with the snipe on the outskirts, 6 on 5. Transcendence in. They know they have Transcendence advantage. Now they're going to use grab. Ultraviolet might be down the self-destructing turn. But you see Montreal going in, trying to follow through on the grab. 5 on 5. Jakaro getting low. Same with Smex. The D-Mech is out. Tea Party alive, and Tea Party the pressure moving on forward. Montreal is getting repelled.
This is going to be the fight win for Tea Party here. Again, Blub is already back for the spawn. With Blub going down so early, there was an opening, but the problem was that Amadian had grab, so Ultraviolet had to save the Transcendence for that. But he goes down to the bomb before Amadian even grabs, so there was no problem there because they traded earlier. Tea Party continuing this push, and with a minute, this is a very far push for a minute on Ubani's EP. And they're in firm control. They have ults. Montreal, they're not even able to contest. They're waiting to stop on 3rd.
This is so good for Tea Party right now. This is the classic overtime push where you never know where it's going to stop. And Montreal, they are in ruins right now. They're still going to take any fight they can take. They want to end this, but it could work to their detriment. Tea Party still in a much better position. You have Madian on the top. Bossman holding on to the bomb, and Ace of Spades setting up for the Shatter. And Montreal, they're getting up to space wisely, but Ace of Spades drops Shatter under pressure, knocks down Logix. Logix alive, but Tensa's down.
Tensa's down. Logix isn't that close to the grab either. This is a lost fight for Montreal. They weren't able to get the value they needed off the bomb engage. Tea Party win the fight. They're continuing the push, and now, even though Logix will have grab, Ultraviolet will probably get the Transcendence. They're in a position where this card has gone so far, even if they stop the push.
This is absolutely nuts. Tea Party is well on their way to bringing this all the way. It is the classic overtime push. 6 points now in their reach. Logix, an opportunity to land a decent grab here. There's no Transcendence or beat in reserve. We're going to see what Logix does as he sets up here for the fight. Tea Party keep it moving forward. Logix holding on. Smex already low. Smex under pressure. Logix connects on the grab, but Smex is already down. The fall through though. Immediately in. Ace of Spades is down. The Transcendence in for Montreal. They have a key advantage here, even with Smex out of mech. Tea Party forced back. The beat coming in a bit late. And Montreal fighting tooth and nail to end this here. Another D-Mech on the way in, but Smex fighting it back. Transcendence in from Tea Party. Not sure it's going to be enough, but they're certainly fighting.
Smex is going to be able to get back in the mech from the beat, but he's going to get burned down so fast because Amadian still very high energy. Logix is here. Ace of Spades is back.
What a shatter, but straight to the ground. And Tea Party moving on forward. The Graviton getting nothing in it but air, but that's because everyone's already gone. 6 points for the Tea Party. Montreal, what is your response going to be?
That is a very, very, very far push, a very successful push for Tea Party. And Montreal just could not find their footing. They couldn't find their footing at any point to stop. They got out-rotated on first, got dropped on. On second, they were behind in the ult economy because of losing the first fight. And then you get the third, and the issue is, once again, is that they didn't find any value from their ults. They're not finding the value from the engages. Montreal could not get anything.
Well, the problem is they kept taking fights where they were disadvantaged, and where there's really two elements that were going into play here. Number one is that you just want to stop the push no matter what. So you're not playing the long game the way you would in normal defense. So you're taking more risks, and none of the risks they took ever paid off. And the second part is that overtime spawns. When you're in overtime, it takes a lot longer to respawn after getting wiped, which means as a defense, you get less opportunities to head on back. So taking a bad fight hurts considerably more. And there's nothing that hurt more than what Tea Party just did to the Rebellion, where the Rebellion, now if they want to bring this back, they have to also go all the way.
Which is a tough, very, very tough task. Getting first with a minute left already is miraculous in a lot of chases on Numbani, because of how easy it is to hold, how tough it is to break at times. And Tea Party, look at this. They're choosing a comp that's going to ensure that it's a very tough push for Montreal. Because if they want to go triple DPS, if they want to go this quad DPS, they have to spam shield. They have to get through Matrix. They have to deal with the immortality field for Blub. And that's going to take all the time off the clock already.
I mean, I'm looking at this and just feeling incredible rage from recent ladder games where it goes, oh, you only have 1 minute to go and you're going to pull out this strategy. But it's effective for all the reasons you just mentioned. It takes time to crack on through, and time is just not something that Montreal has.
Swapped Ultraviolet onto the Zenyatta for Montreal, so they want that extra presence with the Discord. Trance is going to be very powerful as well.
Final 15 seconds.
15 seconds on the clock. Montreal, they're spamming, but they're going to have to continue to get this point presence. They do have that tick already. They're ending up to a second soon.
They've gotten a tick here so far. Far going to turn the attention over to the right. Amplification Matrix up to Karu. Getting absolutely pummeled. Still somehow alive, but very, very low. And the ball can be taken on down. 6 on 5. The barrage over the top of Naga. Not going to be striking deep enough. Madian on the finish. 3 pickoffs from the back. And Tea Party, they have brought back Numbani in style. It's 2-1 Montreal, but the Tea Party is still alive.
And exactly what you would expect when you run against that bunker on first is not only did they burn off all the time, but Montreal, they had to commit, they had to split the resources. They couldn't just spam and then also have good point presence. You have that problem when Fossman's on Diva and you're dealing with the Bastion, is that you're split. You have to split your resources. Am I pressuring point or am I breaking shield? And that's exactly what happened. They didn't have the contest they needed. And then eventually the window is up. J-Caro gets owned. And the barrage with the immortality field means that it didn't find any value.
It was a very tough situation. And honestly, compositions like that will get derided for going, oh, you're just running cheese. And, you know, it doesn't matter if it's a flavor of cheese. Even if you're right in that assertion. Compositions like that, when you have only a minute to go, and the other team, look, on top of it all, not only is it a good composition on the merits for the situation they are in, it's also just frustrating to play against, as for a team that was already frustrated to begin with because they just got ran down for 6 points.
Why bring it back to the age-old saying, it's not cheese if it works?
No.
And if it works, then that is what we like to call meta. Meta is something that if you're able to do it consistently, because that is a comp you'll see on other points, you can see it other times. It's not some unknown of strategy. So not cheese if it works. Tea Party, off that miraculous offense, off of a huge ult economy, making the right plays for defense, and now they're still in. They're still in the series.
They stay alive, and don't forget what they had to do to get back in here. This is actually one of the biggest turnarounds I've ever seen on a Numbani. Montreal had 5.5 minutes to finish through and get point C. And yes, they eventually got point C, but it took every last ounce of time. They didn't finish with over a minute remaining. That's the only reason why Tea Party had another go at it, and their second go was far more effective and far quicker than their first. Although again, you know, as we described, that's kind of the cycle that Montreal got themselves into, where, you know, 1 part overtime spawns, 1 part desperation equals a huge amount of just getting absolutely rolled.
So we're getting ready to go to our 4th map of the series. Tea Party still alive after an incredible Numbani. Montreal, who looked firmly in control so far, is showing some weakness, showing some mortality on Numbani. And now the question remains, is it Tea Party really marking a shift in momentum, or is it Montreal just faltering a bit to finish?
Both. I think right now, anytime you have a situation like this with this big of a turnaround, the answer is always both. I think Tea Party did do a better job of reacting to Ace of Spades, just frankly getting tunneled on every fight, where you didn't need to be a prophet, you didn't need to have a third eye to look into the future. No, Montreal was doing every fight. It was, oh, we see Ace of Spades, we attack Ace of Spades, we go from there. And all they were doing towards the end is like, wait, we can just heal Ace of Spades, we can have him back up a little bit more, and we can win the fight? It's like magic.
The revelation there for Overwatch is keeping your main tank alive and not committing to a fight which you probably can't win, and instead just re-engaging. It's the value of using cooldowns first or second, really. The bunny hop of the bubble, of the armor pack. Our fourth map is going to be Rialto again, our escort, to decide if we go to a fifth or if we finish it out.
Well, the one thing you have to wonder about here is that Montreal, for a team that's been looking quite good so far, this is always the test of just mental fortitude, right? You just got blown away on Nambani in a very just terrible fashion. You were winning very decisively, and things just blew back against you just miserably. Now you're going in the map 4. You're still leading in the series. You're one map away from finishing it out. Can you just get the Men in Black neuralizer, zap it into your eyeballs, and forget that Nambani ever happened? Is the question.
People do often underestimate how important it is, the mentality game. When we say momentum is sort of an all-encompassing word where it's not just who's currently winning, but it's because of how confident a team is feeling, how in the game they are, how tilted they may or may not be. Mentality is key in any sport, in any team game, making sure that you're feeling it, make sure you're on the same page, on the same wavelength, doing the things you need to do, because if you're confident, if you're comfortable, you're doing the things you did in practice, it's much easier to access, to be flexible on the fly. With Tea Party Montreal, then we finish up here on our fourth map, potentially.
And the one difference we do have here is that because Tea Party won the last map, it's going to be Montreal on the attack first. They're not going to be running with the usual advantage that they've had since the very first map on Control, where, of course, it doesn't matter. But Tea Party, thus far, giving up quite a bit of space, and yet, at the same time, punishing Smex. Now they can be quite a bit more aggressive, as Montreal is down to 5. Tea Party still 6.
Look at this positioning for Tea Party. They get that pick from Blub. The nice right-click, nice pick up there onto Smex. They come forward. They realize that they probably don't want to commit the room, because if they lose anyone there, then they open up the possibility of losing first or having to fight at the archway and giving up cart presence. So they'd rather just pick to see if they can see anyone, just do the push and then back up, because they do have that first pick. Specs going for the rotation here again, and he can't get getting caught first. You can't have your Sombra die first when Montreal is playing so passively, because they're relying on Specs to build EMP.
Specs still looking for the EMP build. Montreal getting closer than you would expect here, because Ace of Spades again getting low, but this time getting healed up to a degree. Ace of Spades shield low, but catches Ultraviolet the Fire Strike and backs out. A key difference for Tea Party. Ace of Spades does not fall early.
No, Ace of Spades doesn't fall early. In fact, gets the first pick. Ultraviolet getting caught on the rotation. He plays split on the alley side, trying to play that off angle. And it's one of the risks you play in these mirrors, with 3-3 mirror, and when you're in the Sombra Goats mirror, or just the counter. Because playing off angles means you don't have Matrix, you don't have bubbles, you're not in the direct LOS of your Lucio, like that. Montreal having to come back in. They do have EMP now, but Blub already has the Trance.
Well, they dropped the EMP, but Blub is in with the Transcends immediately. Not in time to save Amadian. So still decent here for Montreal. They're going to drop the Graviton immediately after the EMP. And that's going to be the cleanup they're looking for. And yet, on the same note, Tea Party, they still got both Grav and EMP out. They forced Montreal to use both.
Grav, EMP, Shatter, all gone. But if 3 is stacked on cart, this will be a tough contest for Tea Party. They have to come back forward. It's unlikely they might not be able to touch the point.
I mean, that's kind of the terrible bargain that they were stuck with. It's like, okay, Montreal, you've used a lot of ults, but problem is we still really need to win that fight. They're going to get back in time to contest. And actually, this isn't bad for Tea Party. This is one of the more defensible areas. They have time to set up and start using the doorways to contest. And Montreal, they're going to have to spend even more resources to get through.
I mean, Specs already has another EMP, though, after just using the previous light. The beat's out. Here comes the EMP, likely to strip it. Yeah, the beat is gone for multiple members.
Tea Party had no idea that Specs had that EMP up that quickly. It's not something you can predict. Ace of Spades immediately going to fall, and as you say, the barrier was stripped. 6 on 5, down Orion. This is going to be Montreal getting point A, and I don't blame Tea Party for that. That is not something you can play around or predict. That's Smex would have that quickly.
That's Smex just building EMP incredibly quick. Already 50% to another. Smex is currently, we might be reaching almost peak Doha levels. We might be getting to the 100% Doha. Look at these builds for EMP. They've been extremely efficient, so quick for Smex, which is the crux of this comp for Montreal, which is the crux of playing the Sombra Goats, is that you build EMP fast, you probably just win.
Yeah, I mean, you go from level 1 henchman all the way up to level 99 Doha.
That's just how Mafia works.
Yeah, that's what we're seeing right now. And Smex at 70% already. This is really good for Montreal in terms of building towards the future, but now you can see Tea Party move on in, and they move into Logic's grab. Still, potentially in the fight. Turns out it's going to be used here for Montreal. There's the Shatter. Moving on in, the Shatter from Jakaru, more than enough to finish up the fight. Resources being burned, but at the rate Montreal's making it back, I'm not sure it matters.
They have to use their grab, the Transcendence, to Shatter for Montreal. It's a fair amount of resources, considering it was mostly just the Nano and the grab for Tea Party, but EMP available for Montreal despite all that usage. No defensive ults for Tea Party besides the rally. This is a very tough fight. Far's going to have to not only rally before the EMP, but also can he peel properly for his team, allowing them to stay alive.
Well, EMP comes into the back here from Smex once more, built quite quickly. They use it to take down the opposing Brigida in short order. It's a 5 Jakaru in danger. The beat, though, gonna be saving Jakaru even as the pressure comes on in, and Tea Party not really left with much else. Antol might build up B in the middle here, but using it would be a mistake, and it is a mistake. It's on time to save Ace of Spades and just thrown into the abyss.
I was hoping to save Ace of Spades. It's countered by the cast time of Lucio. You have to take that to out. It's not instantaneous. So they committed that beat in a risky fight, and the risk was negative because they couldn't keep Ace of Spades alive. And a good move from Tinta as well. Ace of Spades has been hitting some incredibly big shatters, and Tinta keeps the cooldown, and you see how Montreal are so effective. They get a stagger kill. Smex 40% to another EMP. Logix has the grab, and with Antol not having beat, that means there's no defensive ults for Tea Party. There's no defensive support ults. So a lot of this is dependent on not only the split for Tea Party, but Fozman getting a bomb to deny cleanup.
I mean, the best defense for Tea Party right now is a good offense, getting a better grab, even a combo. We don't see combos as much nowadays. And okay, Logix. I'm not thanking you for that one.
No,
in fact, I might be considered to insult you for that one because that was not good at all. We do have the Shadow though coming out from Jakaru on the other side. I didn't get a fall. Montreal still have options here, even though the grab was thrown away meaninglessly. 6 on 5, Montreal, the bomb from Tea Party making a little bit of space. Smex has built up BMP, but now might not be the time. No, the Shatter from Ace of Spades at 4.
He keeps on doing it. The Shatters from Ace of Spades have been incredible this series. The body is back on the ball. Just to follow up, just get the cleanup frag. 2 minutes left on the clock, but Ace of Spades Shatters have been incredible this series so far, keeping Tea Party in time after time.
Well, you had a good Shatter on one side and a Graviton that did nothing on the other. However, going to the next fight, Montreal still has elements to look forward to. Not only a minute 43 still left in the clock, but an EMP is ready.
Next has the EMP. They are going to have the rally as well for Naga, so there's definitely follow-up potential, especially if this EMP can go off before Far is able to rally of his own. Far getting a little low. No rally available. Naga dropping his own. Can they move forward, get the cleanups? Fozman down. 3 down now. Tea Party.
Easy cleanup off the EMP. Exactly what you're looking for. Off the engage. Logic's there at the final bit to clean up. Minute 15 left. They'll just be cruising here to the end. Of course, it is escort, so things like finishing with time left over a minute do not matter the same way they would in Assault and Hybrid, but still a good time for Rialto nonetheless, where, never forget that Rialto is not always even finished.
Rialto a tough match to put, a tough map to push occasionally. And that EMP was exactly what Montreal needed to catch Far, so there's no rally available because they didn't have any other finisher ults for Montreal. But catching Far and denying the rally means they could move forward with their own without fear and just burn through those tanky heroes. So Tea Party now going to be on this offense. Minute 10 on the clock for Montreal on their time bank. Tea Party looking to equalize and hopefully have a better offense.
Getting a better offense will be difficult here, but again, all they need to do is finish, period. Time left on the clock. Not really as big of a factor here, especially for how offenses on Rialto tend to go. However, if Montreal has gotten over their trauma from Nambani, Let's not forget that up until that point, Montreal was putting on very, very good defenses and a dominant performance overall. And seeing what they're going to do here in the defense will be interesting, where it does look like they're going to favor a somber defense. And look, the way Specs was building EMPs, why not?
So Tea Party looking like they're going to come out on 3-3. Specs on that Sombra like you talked about. And this is a great map for it because of all the angles. Especially if you have a player like Specs who can pop off when needed. Having this Sombra build the EMPs fast, especially what is an incredibly easy first hold potential on Rialto because how close that spawn is. You have to take 2 effective fights, not just the one fight, but also the fight at the archway. Montreal picking a very strong comp.
Shutting down Specs has to be priority!
Oh my
okay.
goodness!
The reads! The speed!
The pace, the momentum.
Just the absolutely non-consensual bath.
That is a quick, that sort of reminds me of the olden days of the 360 knife duels, the 360 tomahawks. That's a quick flick flail, sending Specs directly into the water.
That is one way of shutting down Specs. As I was about to finish in on the thought, Specs now looking for the build, but Tea Party, an excellent start here to their offense. Now see if Montreal can bring it on back. Specs at 41% right now. Ultraviolet leading in the damage. Off on the other side. Both teams getting into Jakaro, finding the break. 6 on 5. Montreal winning in the neutral game. And this is important to stabilize after what was a tougher beginning.
And Blood Trance is here as well. He's going to go off the map. So now there's no trance available. And the ult cycle, the ult washing machine as we've called it, has now begun to tumble. It's now begun to spin. Because Specs has EMP this following fight. Logics will build grab as well. And without a Transcendence, this is a very, very, very dangerous EMP and a dangerous grab.
Montreal has definitely come back into it after, again, a very unpredictable beginning. EMP is built up. It's all set to go. And, oh, Glove almost falling. Armor pack going to be invested early. But the armor pack's not there for Ace of Spades as a result. The pressure pays dividends.
The pressure pays dividends. And in addition, they invested the rally, they invested the shatter, forcing beat from Tinsa, but they couldn't follow up because Blub, he's sitting in the back line waiting for armor pack. One of the key portions for 3-3 to finish up frags is you need a Discord. You need Zen damage, and Blub was sitting back waiting for armor pack.
Even before considering the EMP that got dropped later in the fight, I'm not even sure if it was required because not only do you keep Blub out of the fight for Discord, but you have to invest armor pack on Blub so it's not there for Ace. Just really good for Specs to manipulate the terms of that fight in Montreal's advantage. Now Tea Party's moving up. They don't have Transcendence yet. Logix has the grab, and they're going to be knocked directly to the ground from Jakaru. And Logix gets saved the grab from the next fight. 1:40 left for the Tea Party.
It's the save to grab, and Specs is 60% to another EMP. Saving grace here for your Tea Party is you have grab bomb, no beat for Tinsa, no Diva means Amadian has the free grab, but you need to get this off fast. You need to clean up these frags. You can't lose anyone on the rotation. See Specs looking Blub down already. Ultraviolet getting the spam at the same time.
That was a twofer. You have a Smex in the back and an Ultraviolet in the front. And in the end, it was enough to send Blub back to the spawn. I mean, a pretty quick trip, but one that takes time.
Takes time. That is extremely valuable for Tea Party right now. And they need to go fast because if Smex gets EMP before this next fight, there's a very real potential for Smex to EMP before Tea Party can use ults.
Smex holding on to the EMP. Graviton can be invested here early from Tea Party, but already down Amadian. Amadian went up pretty far for the grab. And the punishment is coming in, and Smex didn't even have to EMP. Logic still has grab. You might be able to wrap this one up here because it is almost done. 37 seconds left, and Montreal working on an enormous edge.
You see that pressure from Ultraviolet and on Naga onto Amadian. Amadian's looking for that aggressive grab. Nobody can go for it, but they just keep the Discord, get the bash on him, and he gets isolated on the off angle. Now for Tea Party, it's 3 support ults versus a grab and an EMP and a shatter. There's so many finishers here for Montreal. Tea Party support ult usage has to be perfect. And Bossman, if he can eat grab or if he can have a huge defensive bomb, either of these options, Tea Party are still in it.
They need Smex to not land a good EMP here. That's step 1. The bomb from Bossman doesn't get anything. It does get 1. Graviton used from Logix. Ball through not necessarily there. Now the EMP is going to be used. And the beat! Antol with a good beat here to keep Tea Party in it. Is Spades though still going to fall? It's not over yet. Montreal still looking to end this here and now if they can. Overtime in progress. Amadian back into the fray, takes down the Brigida, and Tea Party still alive.
Great beat from Antal, and also Fossman using that bomb early defensively, making sure that Montreal could not move forward, could not clean up their grab, and that's exactly what Tea Party did, a combination of both the defensive bomb and the triple support ults, keeping them in the fight. It's insane, so much, but they have a long ways to go.
Still, though, they were able to take a fight where Montreal was heavily favored. They're going to need to do that at least another 2 times, if not 3, to finish this out and keep alive. Logics really pick off here. 2 minutes left to go. Tea Party can afford to lose this fight, and that's good because they are.
Fight down, going to be less than 2 minutes on the clock when this next fight occurs. And Amadian has grab, but that's the solo ult for Tea Party versus the double support ult, the grab for Montreal in return. Looking from an ult perspective, unwinnable for Tea Party. It's an eco push, really, unless Fossman once again is able to eat the grab, do something huge.
Montreal just going to casually move on forward right now. Logic's getting chugged on entry. Going to make Montreal consider and go, okay, maybe don't dive as heavily now. Jacaro still low. Again, Buster Graviton force out the Transcendence on the other side. Graviton in from the Tea Party as they look to swing it around, and guess what? Everyone's praying. Transcendence on the other side, but prayer is not going to save Jacaro from into the depths. Antal with the boop. And this is going to be Tea Party taking the fight, but time is still being burned off the clock. It's not the end of the world for Montreal.
Antal has had a series. Been quiet at times, but from that beat on first and beats throughout the other maps, that boop onto Jacaro, who's looking for the pin on the grab, removes him so he can't get the pin. He's isolated from his team because they're grabbed, and he gets cleaned up after a second boop. Antal has been showing up big on Lucio. Sometimes it's tough to see those contributions for the Lucio player, but I'm seeing them, Antal, don't worry.
Antal has been the life behind the Tea Party here. 43 seconds left, but there's the EMP. Smek sets it on up, and Jacaro knocks it on down. Ace of Spades already out of the fight. Logic's right there for the fall through. And the one upside for the Tea Party is that the fight was over so quickly that they get one final attempt. The time pressure omnipresent here because of the hold that Montreal had on point A.
20 seconds left. Tea Party's gonna have to make a mad dash to the point. They have a lot of distance to cover. Logic's coming close to that grab, so there's always potential they could C9'd as well. As Ace of Spades
back on Ace of Spades! He had to back out, and again, the problem is, you see Fossman going over the touch, but this is likely going to be a sacrifice of the mech here. Logic's using the grab on the other side. Halo getting pushed by Fossman, so they do have to split a little bit. Montreal finding themselves torn between 2 places. They overlay Squirrel to a degree. Fossman, though, finally demeched. They've removed the interloper on the other side, and that's going to be it. They can't stand the point. Montreal takes the series 3-1.
And what was an unfortunate inability to touch point 2, because Amadian was coming off on grab. Even though Shax had that EMP, there was no support ults available for Montreal. But if you don't touch point, if you don't touch the objective, you lose. And that's exactly what happens. Good fight for Montreal to fight early, too, to deny that cap. But it looked close. And Tea Party, I think they brought it back at the end. They had a good series, but Montreal looked a lot stronger today than they've looked earlier.
No doubt about it. And I mean, Montreal, okay, we'll look at Nambani. I'm going to chalk it up to Tea Party being a lot gutsier as the series went on. Even towards the end of Rialto, I mean, they had good movement. Was it enough in the end? No, but even just getting to point B to begin with was an accomplishment, given the odds that it was stacked up against. So Tea Party showing life no matter what. But Montreal, you just ignored Nambani. They look much more dominant now than I think we expected with only a week's worth of difference.
Yeah, remember, the whole point of this is we're early in the season. We're doing the litmus test. We're doing the eye checks on all these teams. Who do we think is going to be stacking up against who? How are they going to be farther? And despite losing Triumph earlier, showed up a lot stronger today against Tea Party, who had a good game versus XL2. And so if we start doing some transitive properties, it's like, okay, so where do the team stand? But it's so early in the season that teams are going to be proven. And we saw a much different Tea Party today than we did their last game, where we were really praising Fossman and Amadian. But today I was like, wow, I'm really looking at the backline and Ace of Spades. So Tea Party, potentially, if they progress, if they have an arc of improvement, I actually could see a team with a lot of potential. Could be the square one of this season. Now, granted, square one still exists. So
square one is the square one of the season.
Is the square one of
or at least that's what they would say. But I got to say, again, the last 2 weeks in Overwatch, chaotic. We're going to chalk it up to the Outlaws just messing with the fabric of the universe by taking out the shock before having that same fabric woven against them as they lose to the Mayhem. But that's what makes it so much fun. So we are halfway through the day. When we come back, the final 2 matches heading right at you.